Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Whiteville, North Carolina, visiting Vann, Underwood, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and I'm checking out a 2018 Jeep Cherokee in the Latitude Plus trim level. Now this one's also a four-wheel drive with the 3.2 liter V6, and it has a lot more features to show off. So let's go ahead and check it out. This Cherokee is sitting on 225/65 Firestone tires, wrapped around 17-inch alloy wheels painted silver. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated disc rotors in the front and solid in the back. The name of this color is Granite Crystal Metallic, and it's a gray, a dark gray that I guess at nighttime you might mistake it for black, but it's a solid gray. Okay, so looking here in the front, has that iconic Jeep 7-slot grille surrounded by accents in chrome with the Jeep name right above it. Now, one thing people that don't know much about the Cherokee is they think that this is the headlights right up here, but that actually is just the daytime running light, or the accent with the turn signal. The actual headlights are right in here. So the headlights in this particular one have a black bezel around the outside, and the headlights are in a projector tube powered by HID, by Xenon HID headlights for your high and low beams in the same projector tube. And the fog lights are powered by halogen bulbs and a reflector housing. Okay, so looking at the profile of the vehicle, now the four-wheel drive has a little bit of a higher stance than the two-wheel drive, and that's very noticeable when you put them side by side. Helps with getting in and out of the vehicle, and also the ground clearance and all that. So you'll notice it has the plastic trimming around the base of the vehicle, all the way around front, around the fender flares, there on the sides, quite high. This protects the paint and just gives it a durable surface there at the base of the vehicle. The windows are surrounded by a chrome accent, kind of solidifying all the glass as one piece, and it's accented with the pillars blacked out as well, so it just kind of gives it that one solid look. The rear glass is actually tinted with the privacy glass, all the rear glass, and if you were to tint the front glass to match it, it would kind of have that continuity. The handles are all body colored, side mirrors, everything is body colored as far as that goes. Now the side mirrors do have a turn signal indicator on them as well. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system designed where you can keep this in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. It does have useful buttons though, lock and unlock, the ability to open up the power liftgate and remote start, and a panic button. So let's go ahead and push the panic button and see what happens. So it flashes the lights, beeps the horn, has a really strong horn. And it also has a physical key on the inside of this key fob, just in case you need it, but generally you just keep it in your pocket and you can use the vehicle. Walking up to the door, as long as you have the key with you, it can be in your pocket, in a bag, whatever, as long as it's within a close proximity of this door. You can lock the doors by pushing this button. It'll lock all the doors, secure the vehicle. To unlock it, you simply put your hand behind the handle. It senses the key within a close proximity of this door, senses your hand position, and unlocks the doors and allows you access to the vehicle. You also have a physical key tumbler right here, so that way you can enter the vehicle. If the battery's dead, say in your key fob, you can put the physical key in there, turn it, and locks the door. In the settings, you can make it unlock just the driver's side door or all the doors. So that's something you can customize in the settings. So let's take a look here on the passenger side. All right, so most everything is black here on the inside of the door. Now you have a contrast stitching right here in the armrest, and a soft to the touch all around your arm here and here, all the way up in here. It's all soft to the touch, and that extends down to this point right here. Below that, you start getting into the harder plastics. Now this is a handle, but you can utilize this to put some stuff. It actually is enclosed. There's no bottom. It actually has a little rubber mat that you can pull out and clean and put back in. So it's a usable little storage space, as well as right here. And of course you have your bottle holder and storage bin right here in the bottom portion. Okay, so there's the threshold with a plastic sill plate, manually adjusted seats here for the passenger. It does have the ability to raise and lower the seats using this big handle though. So you have a combination of cloth and leather seating surfaces. So the leather will be on the outside with stitching, and then once you get on the inside it has that cloth material. Very comfortable seats, and with the height of the vehicle it's really easy to get in and out of. And then you have those bolsters that are comfortable, not too intrusive though. Alright, so here's your legroom. I'm going to put all the measurements, interior volumes, specs, and everything in the description, but just to give you a visual reference, you can see it's quite wide back in here. A little bit of tapering when you continue on, but overall really good legroom. Little storage pocket, net pocket right here, so that way you can place something in there. It keeps it from rattling around so much. Now the dash material is that same material as you'll find here on the top of the door. It's kind of like what I call a Nerf material. It's very durable synthetic material with a simulated leather texturing. All right, let's check out the glove compartment. This is fantastic. It has a lockable glove compartment. You open it up, and man, does it have a little portion right here, but it goes way, 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 way back in there. So let me get my helping hand here to show you how far I'm in it, because I can't use my physical hand, won't reach all the way back from this position. So this is an absolutely fantastic amount of room here. So you can actually put a stack of books in there, put it in there, and set it down flat. It's really neat. Okay, so looking at the inside of the back door, you have the same soft touch surfaces here, 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 all the way, just like the front basically, with a stitching pocket here and the pocket there at the very bottom. Now the back seat is basically a bench seat. It does have some bolstering to simulate some, kind of like a bucket seat, but generally it's just a long bench seat. So you can have a center passenger once you move the armrest out of the way. See the armrest with the cup holders is here. You can move that up out of the way if you want. It does have the latch system for car seats. You can actually see the connections there. Very comfortable and roomy front and back seat. This vehicle is very surprising. So you can see that the driver's seat is all the way back, and the passenger seat is a little bit forward, just to kind of give you an idea of the legroom back here. A little bit of a hump there in the center. Nothing huge considering it's a four-wheel drive vehicle. On the back of the console you have your climate control vents there, but you also have an AC adapter. So that's 115 volt, 150 watt AC adapter right there, so you can plug in a laptop or charge your devices, whatever. So it has a locking fuel door, and it's on the passenger side. So once you release it, it'll open like so. And it has a fairly traditional cap with a little tether there and a place to hang the cap, or actually the tether across that, to get the cap out of your way while you're pumping gas. Okay, so let's look at the back of the vehicle. Well, actually, let's start here at the top. It has the roof rails there that you can actually extend cross-member portions, and that way you can put some cargo on top if you'd like. Has an antenna, little tiny antenna sticking up right here. Third brake light is powered by LEDs right there in the rear spoiler. Has a rear wiper as well. Backup camera is hidden right in here just below the Jeep name, and it is right in the very center position, which is perfect in my book anyway. Then you have your badging of 4-wheel drive, active drive 2, Latitude. It also has parking sensors across the rear bumper, these little circles. And 2 exhaust tips back here. Chrome lined, looking pretty sharp. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the power liftgate. You can of course use the key, or you can use a button right back here. There's actually 2 buttons. I'll show you that in a second. So you have 2 buttons. The larger one opens the tailgate. The other one actually locks all the doors. Similar to the button on the handle that locks all the doors. Well, that's the same idea here. Okay, so if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, here's your cargo space. And like I mentioned, I'm going to put all the specs and volume and all that stuff in the description, but there's a pretty good amount of space back here. The height is good, the opening of the liftgate is fantastic, and it's just really easy to, it's like a table height. It's really convenient. And you have 2 sources of light here as well. You can check out my night videos on my channel. I show you all the lighting of different vehicles. So you have little bag holders there. You can also install a shade back here if you'd like. Little storage pocket here on the right side. You can install a net pocket if you want as well. Has a 12-volt power supply back here with a key showing that it turns on and off the ignition. And there's a little storage pocket here and a little organizer here. So this is actually just a little bag, similar to like a shopping bag, and you can hang it off of one of these hooks or whatever, put your stuff in it. Okay, so this right here is actually an organizer in which you can put tall items. You can also, Jeep makes bag holders and different things that connect to this. You can also take this off, so this detaches from the vehicle just in case you need that extra space. You don't have to have that in your way. So these seats fold down in a 60-40 split fashion. So right in here is the split. So you can fold down this seat or the other to add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space. So you can also fold down both of them and have this massive wide open space for just about anything you need to put back here. Okay, so this right here lifts up, and you can see it has a spare tire and tools, but also there's a little bit of space around it. So you can utilize that for extra cargo space if you like. I think that's a good idea. And it's not just your back seats that fold down, your passenger seat folds down as well. So now you have this ability to put a really long item here on the far side while still having backseat drivers in the back. So your passengers here in this side, and then you still have this ability to put this long item right there, which is fantastic. To lower the power liftgate, you can of course use the key, or you can simply push this button. It'll beep a couple times and then lower. To start it up, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you just put your foot on the brake and push this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. You can see the floor mat hooks in place in 2 places, keeping it from sliding around on you. There's your accelerator and brake pedal, and a footrest here on the far left. Okay, so let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch a little bit to the right of center, actually right under here. Just pull it towards you and lift it up. Goes the rest of the way up by itself, kind of goes up assisted. Right there's your latch. It stays with the hood. Okay, so looking at the engine compartment here, the battery is insulated here on the far right. You have some color-coded caps in yellow, things you check for yourself. Insulated firewall. And the strut towers, the top of the strut tower right here, is braced in with the unibody structure of the vehicle. So it's a front-wheel drive. It's actually four-wheel drive, but the engine is like a front-wheel drive type vehicle in which it's positioned this way, and the transmission's right on the back on this side. So this is the front of the transmission. The oil filter is just under this cover, and underneath that big plastic cover is an engine. It's kind of hard to see, but it's a 3.2 liter V6 paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and I'll have all the specs for you in the description. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So you have your door lock controls, your power window controls. Both front windows are one touch down, automatic, and one touch up. Side mirrors are adjusted here. You just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad. Power seat here for the driver, so it's up and down, forward and back, just like a dentist chair. It also has a 4-way lumbar adjustment. Here to the left of the steering column, you have your headlight switch right here. So you have off, parking light, headlights on, and then automatic. And then you push the center portion here for your fog lights. Dimmer switch for your interior gauges and your ambient lighting inside the vehicle. Ability to open up the trunk, the power liftgate here. It also has a tilt and a telescoping steering column. And it goes in and out quite a bit, up and down, just like so. And then you lock it in place. Okay, so let's take a look here, sitting in the driver's seat, checking it out. And very impressive with the seats. I mean, I'm impressed with the seats. They're comfortable, easy to get in and out of because it's a four-wheel drive. It has a little bit of a higher stance. The legroom is fantastic. Now, the seat wasn't all the way back like I thought it was, but I did put it all the way back this time. And probably I would have to have it a little bit more forward. I could drive like this. I would have to adjust the steering wheel a little bit, but I can reach the I'm 6 feet tall, just to give you an idea. I can reach the footrest here and the pedals just fine, and plenty of leg room and knee room. Just a really comfortable, soft, cushy seat. Okay, so looking at the steering wheel, it's a leather wrap steering wheel with a smooth leather surface. It has the metallic accents there. And the thickness is really good too. That's why I really like a nice, I have big hands, so a thick steering wheel helps out with, you know, the grip as far as not digging into your hands too much, your bones or whatever while you're driving. Cruise control is here on the right side. On the back of the steering wheel, just back here, there's a toggle switch, up and down. It has one on both sides. So up and down is your volume on the right side. The center button is to cycle through your media source. On the back of the steering wheel on the left side, it's designed really for your fingers to line up while you're holding the steering wheel like so on both sides. But on the left side, the up and down is to change through the radio stations or the audio tracks, and the center button cycles through your favorites or your presets on your radio only. Okay, so you have your Bluetooth controls here. You can voice recognition, you can answer calls, hang up right in here. You can also, the voice recognition is very advanced, one of the more advanced ones that I've seen, in which you can change the climate control. You can, you know, receive calls, make calls. You can change to different radio stations, things like that. There's a whole bunch. Even if you have navigation, then you can go to specific addresses. I mean, there's just a lot of things you can do with just your voice while keeping your hands on the wheel and eyes on the road, which is nice. Okay, so these buttons right here correspond with this little screen between the gauges, which we'll get to in just a minute. Here on the right side is your windshield wiper controls for your front and rear, and your turn signal is over here with your headlight dimmer switch. Okay, so looking at the gauges, very simple, easy to read. You have your RPM tachometer there on the left side. On the right side is your speedometer, and a nice, easy to read with the white lettering on the black background, and the dials are kind of classy. It has like kind of a gold look to them. But right there in the center portion is a little screen. So on the left side of that screen, you have your engine coolant temperature. On the right side is your fuel gauge. You can see it's going to the gas station soon. But that center portion is a information screen. So you have outside temperature right now on the top, as well as a digital compass. These are customizable. You can change those. At the bottom is your odometer, but right here in the center is a speedometer right now, digital speedometer. So let's go ahead and use these buttons right here to change through this, because you'll see this is part of a menu system. Scrolling down, now we're in the vehicle. So the first one is speedometer. That's your first option. Second is your vehicle info screen, which you can get more info by scrolling right and left. Now it's showing the tire pressure, but scrolling to the right, you can see you get temperatures and pressures all through here, and it goes back to your tire pressure. Scrolling down again gets your fuel economy, and you have two resettable options here, so you can reset them independently. So you have an average fuel economy, real time, and a range, which right now is just it says low. Scrolling down again, you have two trips, and you can reset those independently. So it shows your distance traveled, your average fuel economy, and the time elapsed. Scrolling down again will tell you about your stop-start feature and whether it's working or not. So right now the seatbelt's unbuckled, so it's disabled, that kind of thing. Whatever your radio is doing will show up in the next screen. Messages will show here. Screen setup. This is where you can change the things there on the corners if you want to do that. Scrolling down again goes back to your digital speedometer. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what you can have there on that screen. Here at the very top of the dash, you do have an additional pocket. It goes in there quite a ways, and it has a rubber bottom portion that you can take out and clean and put it back in. That's kind of a common theme with all the pockets in this vehicle for the most part. Okay, so here's your Uconnect system. So it's an 8-inch screen, and it's really easy to use. You have your icons across the bottom, and they stay there, so that way you always know where you can go. Right now we're in the radio screen. Show you AM, FM, satellite radio is your options, and then you have your favorites or your presets there at the very top. Next is your media. You have USB 1, USB 2, auxiliary input, Bluetooth, and SD card input. So there's different ways of playing music through the sound system. Your controls, this is basically will turn on or off your dimmer switch. Your dimmer for your rear view mirror. So it's basically an auto dim mirror, and you can turn that on or off. Right here is blank, but if you ever have a heated seat or something like that, it will show up in these places here. Then you can go into your settings and adjust all kinds of different things. Your clock, you can adjust your lights, whether it beeps the horn, when you lock the door, all that kind of stuff. Alright, so next here is your apps. So this is where you can go in and, basically all the icons that you can use. So let's say you wanted to, so right now it has this screen off button. So we can turn the screen off if we want and tap it to turn it back on. Let's say we want to have this Yelp button down there. So we can just press and hold it and drag it down there and replace that button. So that's how you change and customize the buttons how you want them. So let's just go ahead and put the settings there. I think that would be more useful than the Yelp. Alright, so the next one is your climate. Let's go ahead and turn that on. So you have your fan speed, where you want the air to blow, all your different features there, front and rear defroster, recirculate the air, your temperatures, all that good stuff. So it's a driver and passenger separate, which you can sync them if you want. We already saw the settings, so let's go into the phone. Once you pair your phone, you have access to your phone book, recent calls. You'll have your favorites there at the top, people you call regularly. You can join calls. So let's say you're in a call with somebody else calls, your caller ID will show up right here. You can switch calls by pushing the phone button, and then you can actually join the calls to the original person you're talking to simply by pushing that join calls button. You can always transfer the call back to your cell phone as well while you're driving and you want to have a private call or whatever. If you're in the vehicle and you want to have a private call from the other people inside the car, you can push transfer, pick up your cell phone, and talk to them. So let's give you an idea of what the screen's all about. Your parking sensors you can turn off. Your four-way flashers are here. And you have some buttons down here. It's a little bit extra buttons. They basically do the same thing, some of them, as on the screen, but it gives you the ability to change them quickly without changing the screen. So you have your volume, tune through the stations, screen off button, traction control off, your start-stop feature you can turn off when you enter the vehicle. Back, this will take you back out of certain screens up here. And then you have your fan speed, your temperatures, and your different options for your climate control, just like you saw on the screen, but there's actually physical buttons just to make it more convenient. Down here is where you'll find your SD card, USB, and auxiliary inputs, as well as a 12-volt power supply that turns on and off with the ignition. That's why it has a key on it. Little storage space around it. Four-wheel drive controls are right here. So you have different drive modes. So the active drive 2 system, you can just put it in automatic, but you can also scroll this and turn it to snow, sport, sand, and mud. Okay, so if you're in a specific situation, you can tell the vehicle what is the environment you're in, and in that way it can help you out. You also have a four-wheel drive low. This is for off-road, very slow, getting through some thick stuff. Okay, four-wheel drive low is only for that. And then you have a downhill descent button. It's kind of like a cruise control for really low speeds going downhill to keep you from slipping down the hill more. You know, so you keep you at a slow, steady speed going down that hill. Okay, so here's your shifter. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse so we can check out the backup camera. And it has the active guidelines, so you can turn those guidelines on or off. But right now they're on and they're active, so as I turn the steering wheel, it's going to give me an estimated trajectory as I back up the vehicle. Continuing on, there's neutral, there's drive. This is the normal drive position. It's going to cycle through the 9 gear ratios automatically. If I want to manually change through those gears, I can just bump it here to the left, and I can move it up and down to change through the gears manually. You'll know what gear you're in because it'll show right here on the screen there at the top. At any time you can just bump it back into drive and it'll take over, change the gears for you. So right here is a electronic parking brake. So to engage it, you lift up on it and it will engage the rear wheels. You can actually feel it in the pedal as it closes down. To release it, you have to put your foot on the brake and you push down on it and it releases it. Now in the settings, you can have it if the door's open or something like that, the vehicle's trying to roll away on you. If the vehicle's moving with the door open, you can have it to where this will close down and keep the vehicle from rolling. Illuminated cup holders are right here, and it's open here in the center portion to allow for use for more than just cups. Little storage pocket right here. Okay, so here's your armrest, and it's a soft to the touch, very soft and comfortable, with the stitching here on the ends, and it's good size. You might be able to share it with your passenger depending on how generous you are. I don't think I would. I'd just hog it all up. But anyways, it opens up in 2 portions. So you have a small portion here on top. Then you can put small items. And there's places for wires to go in and out of these compartments, by the way. And then the second portion is the larger portion here. And this is where you'll find, in addition to the extra storage space, you also see a 12-volt power supply with a battery on it. So this is directly connected to the battery, so even when the vehicle is turned off, you can still charge your device. And then there's a USB port there, and you notice they're both backlit, so it's dark enough now to where you can see that. You can check out my night videos for more of that kind of stuff. And there's the place for the wires to go in and out. Alright, so here's the rear view mirror, and it is auto dim rear view mirror with the roadside assistance and 911 buttons. It actually has its own cellular connection, so it will dial 911 or roadside assistance. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so right up in here you have places for sunglasses, and it has like a felt lining. Then you have some lights, interior lights, so you could turn on or off. Mirrors and lights in the visors. It also slides out in case you need extra articulation. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. Actually, let's look at these. These are actual tap lights up here. The little dome lights, you can turn those on or off as well. Okay, so the visibility in the back. So you can see the headrests. They kind of line up with the pillars back there, but you know, of course, you have plenty of glass to look out of there on the sides and in the rear. And speaking of that, this vehicle has the blind spot monitor system. So here on the side mirror, there's a little triangle. You see that little triangle there on the side mirror? That will illuminate when somebody's in your blind spot. So as you're driving on the highway, somebody's there, it's going to let you know by illuminating that triangle on the appropriate side. Now, it also serves as the rear cross traffic alert system. So if you're backing out of a parking space, sort of like these vehicles here that are perpendicularly parked, if you're backing out, sometimes you can't see around the vehicle next to you. So it will put on the sensors and let you know if there's a vehicle coming from either direction as you're backing out of a parking space. It's a really cool feature. Okay, so let's look at the window sticker. So you can use the pause button to read all the details if you'd like. So it starts off with the color, the engine, transmission, standard equipment, interior features, exterior features on the next column. Then it goes to your optional equipment. So this one has the safety tech group, the comfort convenience group, the 9-speed automatic transmission, and the V6 engine. Your fuel economy and your safety ratings are here. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Vann Underwood, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Whiteville, North Carolina, and I'll see you guys next time.